Hi there, chaps and chapettes, Brush and Quill here. I'm coming at you with a bit of a showcase video. I've not managed to get much painting done this week because of the pure and simple reason that I've been at work. I know, shocking, I do work. And it's just put a bit of a kibosh on the amount of time I've had, really. So I thought I would just follow up on my Christmas loot video and just do a run through of the Black Templar models that I have painted so far. You can sort of see one just out of shot, just sort of here. It'll be coming in a second. So I'm sort of just going through them in the order that I did them, really, just to get some sense of timescale. So the first one I did is this chap here. He is a push fit intercessor. That I painted up as a Black Templar. I have some chain which I put around the gun here, so he's got a chained up gun. Added a little dagger here from I think it's a Imperial Guard kit. Little shield here, I found that in my bits box. And then this here is actually from the Bretonian sprue, but I think they look very good on Black Templars as well. And I just painted him up to test the scheme. It's a bit dusty, hence the all the little white bits. But yeah, I'll go for the colour scheme towards the end. But yeah, he's also the only one that's got transfers on him because I didn't have any shoulder pads at the time, and these shoulder pads come moulded to the arms, so I'm not going to go. I might go back and cut them off at some point, but not anytime soon. So he was the first model I did. Now, because I didn't have the box sets yet, the next model I picked up was this guy here. So this is actually the Phobos Armor Librarian. Now I wanted a apothecary, and I wanted my apothecaries to look lighter, like they were wearing lighter armor than the main troops, because they're medics basically, and I thought that would be a fun little twist. So I used the librarian because he also had all these robes. As you can see, I've gone for a very dark brown on the robes. It's much darker when I'm not under all these lights. It's almost black. Just as a colour change from all the beige and tan that'll be going on, plus it gives him some darkness against his white armour. Again, we've got some of the Black Templar things there. Not Black Templar, Bretonian streamers there, another dagger. And then I built his Narthicum there from a what they called Sanguinary Guard arm, and some various different bits. I think these are actually aerials that I've cut down. Yeah, and then the little vials are from the Admech set, as are the little servo arms and stuff on his backpack. So yeah, so that's him. All the bases I've tried to get to have some debris and stuff on them, and some orky debris. So you'll notice that most of them have this shield. This is a Bretonian shield again, but have this pattern on the shield, and that is for the Armageddon Crusade, which when I was growing up, that was the crusade that the Black Templars were in. So I've decided to model them after that one. Now the next model I did was actually a model that's been in my collection for years and years and years and years and years. So this is a Dreadnought. This is the plastic Dreadnought, like one of the originals, and one of the original plastic ones. And he, I converted him back when I was in university, so that's almost 20 years ago, 15 years ago. So what I did was I used various different components. Please don't ask me what, I can't remember. To build this gimbal mounted assault cannon on this arm. That was part of the original conversion. Oh, and the power plant, I think this is from Cortez. Is it Cortez? The guy in the Inquisitor in the walking throne. This is the power plant from that, because I used the actual throne itself to build a greater demon of Slanesh. That ended up in a dustbin at some point. And then, yeah, I've added more to it since then when I've repainted it. So the arm now has battle trim, just like this one does. And I've added the Black Templar symbol and the chains around the bolter and the fist. Yeah, painted up as a Black Templar. I thought as a Dreadnought he ought to be a Sword Brethren, hence the reason that the symbols are in red and the trim is in red. Because I thought, so the Sword Brethren are the veterans of the Black Templar force. So I thought he ought to be one. And the base is original as well. You stand up on that and everything. Little notice there, maybe a cease and desist, maybe. But that's him there. Let's put him over there. So as I again still at this point didn't have the set, we're probably into November at this point, I thought, oh, I've got someone kicking around in my box set, another Dreadnought. So I dug him out. So this is the metal Venerable Dreadnought. Now this weighs a ton, but the only difference is that this fist here is actually the Forge World. I think it's a Contemptor one, because at some point I used the Power Fist for a Chrono Gladiator. So this is 99% correct. Again, painted him up with red trim because he's Sword Brethren. If a Dreadnought is, a Venerable Dreadnought would be. And yeah, added some chain onto the assault cannon arm to give it that Black Templar style. He's got his Crusader thing on a banner there opposed to on a shield, because they didn't want to start adding a shield on. And then the back banner is actually from the Sisters of Battle. I bought an Exorcist at one point, and it came with a plastic sprue with bits like this on it. So I've given him his own little personal heraldry there. The sword piercing the cross is a little nod to the fact that when I played Space Marines a lot, I played Deathwing, I played Dark Angels, so that's a little bit of a nod to that. But yeah, painted him up. Little bits of either transfers or hand done script on him. This is apt for the Black Templars. I've also twisted him at the hip, so he's turning and firing. I wanted my Dreadnoughts to look very much like in the original Dawn of War, where he's fighting up that hill and then a Dreadnought just appears in the middle of the battlefield to provide support. I wanted it to look like these Dreadnoughts have just appeared, and that there's, in the middle of a battle. The figures are still clean, though. I don't do dirty models. I like them to be clean. I not something that I personally find nice. All that dusting them up and making them dirty and stuff. So, but that's just me. So the next things that I did, and I can't remember which order I painted these guys up in, so I'm just going to put all three of them out. Was the other intercessors for the squad. To make a squad, it's a squad of 5 intercessors in the combat patrol. So I built up 3 more. So here's the first one with his pistol. The pistol's not from the Black Templar sprue, so I added chain to that. And it got another bit of a Bretonian. That's off the back of a Bretonian helmet. And then another one there. And then he has got that's a moulded one, but this is a 3D printed shoulder pad I got off eBay. and they're very nice, and they look absolutely superb on it. This guy's also got a Grey Knight's helmet to give him a bit more of those knightly helm type things. So that's him. I can imagine he's like the NCO, the corporal or something. That's why he's got his pistol out. This guy here, I found some tassets, as they're called, in my bits box, so I added them to him. A knife from somewhere. Not sure where that knife came from. Oh no, I think that's actually off the intercessor sprue. Sorry. He's got his pistol down there on his calf, just because I imagine that they add them to wherever they feel comfortable. And then his bolter, that's a Black Templar bolter. I didn't add that one. I did add the shield though from the Bretonian sprue. So that's him. And then here's the last basic intercessor. Just standing there looking imposing on his on that piece of terrain there. You'll notice that there's sometimes transfers and sometimes freehand. It just depends on the space and whether or not I feel confident putting a transfer there. I have got some more transfers as well as some third-party transfers to add of illuminated script, which I'm going to be using for some big areas. You'll notice on the dreadnoughts, like here, this is actually, if you look very closely, it's actually chaos runes from the word bearers. But from 3 foot, it just looks like script, especially when you put a little square in the corner to be that illuminated letter that you get on illuminated scripts. And here's the Intercessor Sergeant. He's a sword brethren again, as you can see by the red. He's actually made from the Judica, Judge Judy. That one, you know, the one that everybody hates because he's got his sword on his shoulder. Sword on his shoulder. Yeah, that is right. So I decided to build him up as the sergeant. And then he's got his dark robes again, bright red cape, as all my sword brethren will have. I gave him a flamer pistol, which again is part of the theme of the army, which I'll go over in a minute. His bat banner, I decided I wanted bat banners. So this is actually from an Orc and Goblin kit, but it seemed to fit quite well. To give him a back banner, and the top of the back banner is actually from a psychic staff thing. So, and then he has the Executioner sword again. I decided to give it back to him, but this is the one off the Black Templar upgrade sprue, so we can hold it as he's walking along and fire his pistol. And then I gave him a belt buckle with the Templar symbol, and just generally just changed him around a bit. So that's him, and then the last model I've completed for now. So obviously I've got that like 6 boxes to get. Is this chap here? So this is the Captain in Gravas armor. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't a fan of this kit. Not a fan of it. Putting together the back with the ammo feed and the backpack and the cape, and trying to paint it so that you can get to everything, it was just a real pain in the melon. So but I did it. So he's there. You notice I've removed the iron halo, which is now on the floor there. I wasn't a fan of it. Changed his head for a Grey Knight one again, so he's got the knightly helm in there, and gave him a power sword, which is part of the kit. The kit came with 3 choices: power sword, power fist, or chain sword. So I gave him the power sword because my first Space Marine figure was a Space Marine in Terminator armor with the captain with power sword and Stormbolter. So this is a little homage to that figure. Power sword. I know it's not Stormbolter; it's just a bolter, but that's it. Again, a transfer on the power fist there because I cannot paint that symbol for toffees. That's why I'm so glad that so many of these came with molded things. I switched the shoulder pad out for a molded one there. That one was just far too covered up, so I just left it. And yeah, so this is him. Oh, his original helmet's there. Some poor Space Marine's taken some damage and he's walking past him. Yeah, and added chain to the power sword there. So that's what I have painted so far in about 3 months. This is a side project, a project of love. I'm not putting a lot of time into it per se. It's when I've got some spare time and I want a palette cleanser, I'll do some work on a Black Templar Marine. I've not batch painted any of them. They've all been painted well, that's a lie. Some of it has been batch painted, which is the bases. Those bases have been batch painted and they're varnished just so that I don't have to worry about getting dry brushing on the legs and the feet. I can just go back and then paint the armour. But apart from that, all of the armour, all of the bodies, etc., have been individually painted as a figure, as a palette cleanser. So to run through some of the themes of the army, so one of the main colour themes was that it was going to be a limited palette. There's only 6 colours, so it's red, black, white, which are the 3 main Black Templar colours, plus silver and gold, obviously, for the metals, and then the light blue, which either acts as the armour highlight or it acts as a colour where I just want to add a tiny splash of colour in. So like the Gravis Armour's thing there, or you'll notice on the rope there behind the back banner. I think there's someone like some of the swords and stuff. So that's it. Sort of 6 colours. Even the belts, even though they're this the brown is on the robes is more sort of a highlight of black to make a different black, and the this belts here is sort of a reddy brown as well. So there's different shades, but it's 6 colours if you follow my meaning. The other theme which I've sort of got running through the army is around the burn the witch, burn the heretic. So it was a vow I think you could take in the original Black Templars codex, and it basically means that where I can I'll get a flamer weapon in, just to make it more purgy. So the sergeant has a flamer pistol, the veteran, the vulnerable dreadnought has a flamer in its contemptor fist. Unfortunately, the other dreadnought I had was already built with a stormbolter, so he's kept that. But going forward, I will try to retain flamers where I can, just to give it a bit of difference, really. The other thing is that although 90% of this will be built to instructions, and as it says, I'm not really ever going to play with this army, so some of it may just be rule of cool, like if I think that somebody should have a weapon, or I want to add a second flamer intercessor or something like that to a squad that should only have one. I'm going to do it because it's just rule of cool. It's going to be in a display case. I don't care if it's game legal. So what have I got coming up for this army? I've still got the box set, the Combat Patrol, so that's the entire Crusader squad needs building, plus their tank, plus the Marshal. I think you're converting the Marshal to a standard bearer, just because I'm not a fan of the pose, to be honest with you. I always think he looks like he's doing some sort of aerobics or yoga. So turn him to a standard bearer maybe, and then I've got the Emperor's Champion, which I need to do, and I'm really looking forward to doing him. As I said, I may convert him so that the sword changes 90 degrees. I'm still trying to decide that one. Talking of Emperor's Champion, I've finally got my copy of Bayard's Revenge, which was the limited edition Emperor's Champion killing an orc. So I've finally got him, and I'm going to do something a bit special with the paint scheme on that, I think, which I will explain when I get to it. And the other thing I have is it bosses is the Sword Brethren, which need to be done, and I'm really looking forward to doing those as well. I think I'm getting to the point now where I might actually have to start going through cutting bits off sprue and put them in little bags so that I can remember all the cool bits I want to put with each other. And then finally, I've got sitting over here is a third dreadnought for the army. This is an eBay rescue. As you can see, see perfect the green stuff. I sort of had to go back and read green stuff in there. The feet were missing, so the feet have been scratch built from some various different bits. The missile launcher arm is a complete scratch build. The last cannon arm was existing, but I've had a chain to it, and as you can see, it's not in the best condition. You can see some of the blue paint there from the eBay rescue. The faceplate was completely melted, so I've added. I had a knight's faceplate from a 40k knight. I remembered that there was an old Chaos dreadnought that had this sort of thing going on, so I've put that there as a bit of a callback to that Chaos dreadnought, and I did some tubes and stuff at the top there connecting it and everything. So I'll go ahead and paint him. I need to get in there with some primer and finish up those bits where the spray paint's missed. But yeah, so he's another dreadnought for the army. See what I mean there about the bases. That's me and my Black Templars. I've worked on for 20 minutes now, so I'm sorry about that. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you liked it. Stay tuned. I am hopefully going to work this weekend. It's first thing Saturday at the minute. Hopefully I'm going to work this weekend on the heavy armour, heavy guns, because I really want to do some work on that. But just the idea of getting a razor saw out and everything after an hour commute and a full day at work was just too much. So yeah, you guys have a good one. Enjoy your 2023, and I'll see you in my next video.